Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Evan Irani with CBS 8, giving you our CBS 8 extended forecast for our Friday. As we track now, Hurricane Hilary previously was a tropical storm. Over the last 24 hours underwent what we call rapid intensification and is now a Category 4 hurricane. It is still expected to make landfall in San Diego as a tropical storm, so it will have started to decay in the process as it travels up the Baja Peninsula. We'll get into all the details of this storm from today through your weekend into next week. We're giving you basically the next 8 days. So it's going to be a long one here, but you can stick with us for as much of it or as little of it as you like. The emphasis and the big picture that we're emphasizing is that the majority of that rain is going to start up Saturday night into early Sunday, all day Sunday rain in San Diego, and then breaking apart Monday morning into Monday afternoon. Wind is also going to be a huge threat associated with it, especially west of the mountains. We'll look at your wind speeds too. Currently a Category 4 storm, 145-mile-per-hour sustained speeds around the eye wall of that storm. It is still way far off from San Diego and pretty far off from even Cabo. It's not even going to make landfall close to Cabo, but it will around that Cabo area just to the west of it start to degrade. So we're going to see it drop from a Category 4 storm to a Category 3 storm. What's contributing to that is going to be cooler ocean water. As this storm travels north, it will start to encounter colder ocean water. Right now, water temperatures where it is, about 85, 90 degrees out there. As we move farther north, we'll see that around the San Diego area, coastal waters are closer to 70 degrees. That is a dramatic departure, and this storm does not want colder water. So colder water is going to be our friend, and it is going to be our saving grace when it comes to seeing this storm decay. So we're going to watch that happen over the next several hours and the next several days in particular. It's still going to be a Category 4 storm likely by the time we get to this afternoon, but by the time we get into Saturday, that's when we start to see it drop to a Category 3, a Category 2, and then a Category 1 storm before arriving in San Diego as a tropical storm. You wouldn't know looking outside right now, though. That's because San Diego has mostly sunny conditions out there. Marine layer is dense along the coastline. Temperatures this afternoon are expected to be in the 80s and 90s. It's going to be a warm day before we all cool down to the 70s with the approach of this tropical storm, currently Category 4 hurricane. So this is the satellite radar view right now, but I want to switch over to what we're anticipating because we have several watches, warnings, and advisories in play that we want to start off with. The biggest thing on hand right now is San Diego's first ever tropical storm watch. The County of San Diego has never seen one of these before. This is the very first time. It takes effect today, and it is in effect currently. It will last through Monday at 8:29 a.m. Essentially what that means is this entire weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we've got this tropical storm watch in effect. If we see this storm as imminent and making landfall in San Diego, there's a good chance that this watch will be upgraded to a warning or an advisory. Flood watch is also in effect. Important to note that that flood watch is in effect below this tropical storm watch. So they are both working in tandem. You only see the pink, and that's the tropical storm watch, but the flood watch also applies to the entirety of San Diego County, as flooding is a top concern associated with this storm, starting on Sunday at 5 a.m., lasting through Monday at 11 p.m. So Sunday morning through Monday night is really the prime time frame we're watching out for. And it's not just San Diego County. There's a good portion of Southern California under that first ever tropical storm watch. We also see a good portion of California, Nevada, Arizona, all under this green, which is that flood watch as well. So the risk of flooding lasts all the way as far north as Vegas, just off to the east of Reno, Nevada. Pretty incredible trajectory that we'll see of that storm as it travels north. Also want to point out all of those other tropical storm watches, warnings, advisories. We have a hurricane warning that is farther south toward the southern Baja Peninsula. Just around the central portion of it, we're at a hurricane watch, and then we have that tropical storm watch because, as I mentioned, it'll keep traveling north here, and as it does so, it will decay, and as it decays, it will lose its momentum. Wind speeds will drop. Rain is still a huge threat, mainly east of the mountains, I should say. Wind being the primary thought west of the mountains. But what we see across our deserts is a tremendous amount of moisture in a pretty small segment of time. And that's where we see the greatest threat for flash flooding. Borrego Springs, Ocotillo Wells, pushing all the way up to the Palm Springs area, we see a huge opportunity for flooding and flash flooding at that, which we'll jump into in just a minute. As I mentioned earlier, you wouldn't know looking outside. So that's why we're asking that you stay tuned to this forecast, because when you look at what we see outside right now, sunny skies, temperatures in the 70s, this is the calm before the storm. Yesterday and the last several days, we were dealing with heat advisories, excessive heat warnings. It was very hot out there and it was windy. We even saw fires pop up across our county. So we're watching those fires as they're continuing to be contained. We're also watching as sunny skies remain 76 degrees along our coastline as that afternoon high. All right, so let's track Hilary a little bit more. Category 4 right now. Watch as it makes its way north. Just off to the west of Cabo, it'll be a Category 3 storm. It continues to decay to a Category 2 storm. By Sunday at 5 a.m., our landfall is not expected until we get into late Sunday, early Monday. But what we have to keep in mind is that doesn't necessarily mean that the rain starts late Sunday, early Monday. It's just that the center of that storm is over our area late Sunday, early Monday. This storm is the size of Texas, so the outer periphery, those larger outer bands, are still threatening a good portion of Mexico and especially Baja California in the coming days. And then for us in San Diego, we expect our first showers to begin late Saturday night into early Sunday. It is a Category 1 hurricane by the time we get into Sunday at 5 p.m. It's not expected to make landfall in San Diego as a tropical storm. That's what this says here until we get into Monday morning, about 5 a.m. You see that just around the greater Southern California area. Still expected to pack tropical storm force winds and rain in the forecast. So you can clearly make out the eye of this hurricane. This is the radar imagery and our forecast rainfall going through the next several days. It will keep pushing farther up to the north, just off to the west of the Baja Peninsula. We don't see San Diego incorporated in this until we get into Saturday. So here is 9:50 on Saturday. We know we have had a lot of questions on hand, and pretty much the number one question I've been asked is, when is it going to start to rain? Well, scattered showers, and lighter scattered showers at that, are going to begin Saturday night, especially across the mountains and deserts, but countywide we'll notice that into Saturday night, because there's that rain. This is the outer band of Hurricane Hilary. This is the hurricane itself, the eye of the hurricane right there. It will keep traveling north. We'll start to get those stronger bands of precipitation embedded in this as we get into Sunday. Sunday afternoon and evening, prime opportunity for some severe thunderstorms to take place, for strong downdrafts of wind, upwards of 50 miles per hour. We look at this storm as a tropical storm. As it makes landfall, tropical storms can still pack 70-mile-per-hour gusts. That's still a possibility with this storm. You see how a lot of that moisture is over the ocean. I want to emphasize that cone of uncertainty that we were looking at with this hurricane allows for this storm to take several routes. It can move east, it can move west. This specific model, this graph model that we're looking at, tends to push it a little bit farther off to the west over the ocean and up toward the LA area. There is no definite track of this storm. That is why we call it the cone of uncertainty, because it can travel in either direction, east or west. Anywhere in that cone is fair game as to where this storm could make landfall and that exact eye wall path. It'll keep traveling north from there. Again, graph starts to show it, making its most intense push into the LA area late Sunday, early Monday. We're still picking up on many showers to start off the day on Monday, 2:20 a.m. or so. Want to talk about wind, because as I mentioned, it really is dependent on where you are as to who's going to see the most intense wind versus rain. We pause this at 7:30 a.m. on Sunday. That's when these winds start to pick up beyond that 20 to 30 mile per hour marker. 57 miles per hour in Julian at that time frame, 44 in Pine Valley, 39 in Campo. Watch as that purple starts to spread west of the mountains. This is where we start to see more concern related to wind damage close to the coast and inland. When we have a dramatic Santa Ana wind event, the mountains and deserts are prepared and can adequately handle 50, 60, and 70 mile per hour gusts. They've done it before. Of course, it's still dangerous out there and worth the mention, but when we talk about the coastline seeing that, that's an anomaly. We are not at all used to seeing the coastline in the 50, 60, and 70 mile per hour range. And that's what we're going to see as that purple starts to spread farther off to the west. Oceanside, 48 miles per hour, 50 in Del Mar, 50 in downtown San Diego, 52 in Fallbrook. One thing that we also notice is we can actually watch with these arrows showing the direction of the wind, that storm as it makes its way north. You'll notice the eye as it passes and makes its way up north. That wind completely shifts direction and starts to die down. So by the time we get into Monday morning, we're calmer, but we're still quite breezy out there. In terms of how much rain we could see, 2 to 3 inches expected along our coastline, 5 to 7 inches across our mountains and deserts. With this 24-hour stretch in particular, I would say from about midnight Sunday to midnight into Monday, that is going to be a crucial time frame to watch across our mountains and deserts, where we see the risk of flash flooding across our mountains and deserts in particular, eastern slopes of the mountains toward the deserts. Along the coast and inland, 2 to 3 inches, still quite a bit of rain on hand. So not only is rain going to be a threat, but wind as well. Wind is a larger threat closer to the coastline and inland. Rain, especially those doubled accumulations compared to the coast, is a larger threat across the mountains and deserts in particular. So I know I've thrown a lot of information at you, and I know that this is a storm that we are continuing to track, but that deviates, right? These models update quite constantly and give us new information. So we're trying to bring you the latest as we can, but it is not perfect. That's why we call it uncertainty, right? We talk about our confidence levels in this. Our highest confidence is in rain being most widespread Sunday into the evening hours and then continuing through Monday. But it looks like it could start up as early as Saturday, especially Saturday evening. We want to ask, have your preparations complete by Sunday night? Have you prepared? The things that we should be doing to prepare for this storm are probably things that many residents would say are going overboard. It is way better to be over-prepared than under-prepared for a storm like this. You do not want to be caught in flash flooding and 70-mile-per-hour gusts and then say you were under-prepared. Over-prepare now and then be grateful on the back end of the storm that it didn't come to fruition. What does that mean to over-prepare? You should have a completely full tank of gas. Absolutely full. That is the first thing. Everything outside of your home needs to be completely taken care of, meaning any loose furniture should be brought inside. Pillows, anything that you leave outside on that furniture needs to be brought inside as well. Otherwise, expect it to be picked up and pulled around with this storm. Possibility of flooding. Do you have sandbags? Are you prepared if we do see some flooding, up to 5-7 inches of it? Are you prepared for what your next step would be? Do you have enough non-perishables with you? Because we may lose power in this storm, especially with those intense wind gusts. If it takes down a tree or power line, many of us could lose power. So that's going to translate to ensuring that you have non-perishables ready to eat and water to drink. Those are important steps as well. Finally, you want to make sure that you are just prepared with resources around the area. We are going to have plenty of resource centers available. There's a list of them on our website, cbsa.com. If you click on the help button, we have more information on all that preparedness underway across the county of San Diego. We ask that all of this is done before you go to bed on Saturday, because by Sunday morning, that storm is going to start up. You want to have everything completed. We've already touched on the wind, but strong wind gusts 35 to 70 miles per hour, sets of 3 to 5 foot waves for the San Diego coast. Rip current risk remains very high, and south-facing beaches are especially impacted. We'll round it out with where we are right now. Temperatures right now are warm. They're mild closer to the coastline. We are expecting our afternoon highs to peak in the 70s and 80s out there. 77 for Carlsbad, 88 for Escondido, 93 for Ramona, and 90 for Julian and Alpine. We are going to cool down as this storm arrives. We expect that Sunday could be a warmer one out there, but Monday is going to be the coolest day that we have on hand. 71 degrees along our coastline on Monday, 75 inland. And here's the thing. As quickly as this storm arrives on Saturday night into Sunday, it is going to exit Monday afternoon and Monday evening. After Monday, we are back to dry skies. Temperatures start to moderate themselves, head back closer to average. Mid-70s along the coastline, mid and upper 80s as we make our way inland. A lot of sunshine for that Tuesday through Friday stretch next week. So in particular, it is Saturday night to Monday morning that we are most concerned about as far as our impacts go. Mountains and deserts will experience similar trends. Severe thunderstorms easily embedded in this strong system. We talk about the size of the system. It's about the size of Texas, and that's why the eye of the storm is just one thing. Landfall in San Diego is just one thing, but we're going to see the outer bands of this and the initial shaping of showers across our area as we get into Saturday night. So that's going to be the first time to start watching out for that, especially across our mountains and deserts. Thunderstorms through and through, starting to dry out by the time we get into Monday afternoon and Monday evening. Trust me, I know this is a lot to take in. Our first ever tropical storm watch. One of the first times in about a century that we've seen a tropical storm actually with the potential of making landfall in San Diego. So it can induce a lot of anxiety. We want you to take a deep breath with us. We are here to help you. We are working for you and giving you the latest on this storm as it continues to move. The one thing that we are certain of is that every single part of this forecast that you just looked at could change. There is a lot of uncertainty related to it, and that's why we will work to keep you updated on the forecast as these models continue to change. National Hurricane Center and the National Weather Service in San Diego also doing their part to keep us consistently updated. All of the info that I gave to you here was accurate as of Friday at about 9 a.m. All of this, again, will change and can change. We are here with you all weekend long to keep you updated on the preparations underway in order to make sure that homes and businesses are prepared for this storm. And we, of course, will continue as that storm makes landfall from Sunday night into Monday. So you can keep up to date with the latest here on CBS8.com. You can download the CBS8 app for the latest. You can also keep up to date on all of our social platforms. We have a Facebook page, we have an Instagram page. It'll give you the latest there. In the meantime, I want to appreciate you being with us for this CBS8 Plus extended forecast. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Irani with the latest on Hurricane Hilary, expected to make landfall in San Diego as Tropical Storm Hilary. We hope you all are safe through the day and through the weekend, and we will see you back here over the course of the weekend for the latest.